Well, a very big, busy day in Brussels, a G7 meeting, a NATO meeting, a meeting of EU leaders at the European Council. And finally, Joe Biden has made it across to Brussels, to NATO HQ, exactly 1 month after the war in Ukraine started. I thought he should have been here the first week, but the fact that he was here is still important, because I'm beginning to think that NATO is actually increasingly important. Now, Boris Johnson, of course, there on the scene, but somewhat shunned, it would appear, by other foreign leaders. Look at this clip, and he's sort of really on his own a little bit. And then he decides that the prime ministerial thing to do on the world stage is to put his hands in his pockets and loiter. Get your hands out of your pockets, Johnson. Unbelievable. Not a good look for the country, I would suggest. However, what is better for Boris Johnson? And I've often accused him of being very indecisive. But one thing he has acted very clearly on is the war in Ukraine. We've given more leadership in terms of sanctions, and in particular, in terms of providing military support, in terms of equipment and kit, certainly than the rest of Europe. You know, just this week, we've agreed to send a further 6,000 missiles to the Ukrainians because they were saying they were running out of ammo. Compare and contrast that with our former partners in the European Union. The Germans decided they were going to send, well, initially, of course, it was just 5,000 helmets. But the Germans decided they were going to see weapons, but thus far, the Ukrainians say they've seen precious little of it. When it comes to us weaning ourselves off Russian oil and gas, Germany saying very clearly, if we move too quickly on reducing gas supply, it will cause a major European recession, perhaps even a depression. And I just wonder, not only with the photograph, the picture there of Boris Johnson being isolated and shunned, but in terms of our actions and the EU's actions, I'm asking myself, can we actually work with the European Union in terms of dealing with and putting maximum pressure on Vladimir Putin? And it seems to me that the answer to that is no. We couldn't work with them when we were members. We certainly can't work with them now that we are not members, and that is why we need NATO to be a strong, vibrant, grown-up and sensible organisation. I must say, very disappointed to see that Ben Wallace, the Defence Secretary, in that hoax call, made it clear that he'd thought until very recently that Ukraine ought to be a NATO member. I'm disappointed by that. But I have to say, Boris Johnson has been very, very decisive. He's been described in a briefing from the Kremlin as the most anti-Russian leader in the world. And actually, over the course of the last month, he truly has been. Whether you agree with that or not, the fact is he has been decisive. Our European neighbours are split down the middle and, frankly, don't know what to do. So you tell me, can we work with the European Union in the battle against Putin? Farage at gbnews.uk.